as I say, you've not only run against him, you've got a place on the program tonight. Give us a sense of what Joe Biden needs to do over these 4 days.
Well, I do think, David, that the point of these 4 days is to show two things. One is unity, that in fact, this party and this country are united behind Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And secondly, that there's a positive excitement around what they're talking about, what they're going to do, and how they're going to bring us together. And I think you're going to see over the next 4 days, not just that this party is united around the idea of beating Donald Trump, but there's a vision here, that there's a time for a real change in our society that is good for Americans across the board, and that Joe Biden is the man. He's going to be the transformative president to get America back on track, to pull us together across all the lines that can divide us, and in fact, to do for America what we absolutely need right now, which is to come together and build a more equitable and a more prosperous future.
So, Tom, the former Vice President Joe Biden has laid out a number of different programs, and some there seems to be widespread support with the Democratic Party. For example, climate, something you're very intent on making progress on, and that is a progressive, I would say, agenda. On other issues, it's not as clear there's unanimity, and particularly health care. We have Bernie Sanders, the senator, speaking tonight. He wants Medicare for all. That's not in the platform. And in fact, Bernie Sanders' national co-chair, Ro Khanna, the congressman from California, says he can't support the platform. Is Medicare for all part of what Joe Biden's running on?
Joe Biden is running for health care as a right for every American. That is a sharp difference from the Republican Party. He's somebody who has been dealing with the coronavirus in a way that's responsible and data-driven and compassionate for Americans. And that is one of the reasons that people are excited about him as a candidate, is they know that Joe Biden leads with his heart, that he cares about Americans, that he is deeply committed to their health and safety and welfare. And let's talk for 1 second about that Build Back Better climate plan, because it addresses all the questions you're asking, David. You know, it is a plan that deals very aggressively with our need to change our climate affecting energy policies. But it is also an environmental justice program at its heart, putting the clean air and clean water in underserved Black and brown communities at the very heart of the program. And it is also a huge union jobs program across America, because we need to rebuild this country in a sustainable and resilient fashion. So I think what they're talking about in healthcare, I think what they're talking about in terms of climate, is a broad-based change, a transformative change to America to get us back on track in every way and to pull us together. And that's why I think that's what you're going to see over 4 days. You're going to see the party come together, and you're going to see excitement around the idea that we can change and be effective and move forward together. I'm very excited about it myself.
So, Tom, you've been on the subject of climate for a good long time. I mean, you really are an expert in this area. And I take your point about the plan. How's it going to play in Pennsylvania, just to pick a state, which is a key battleground state? And there's a lot of concern, for example, about eliminating fracking.
Well, I think what this plan does is it's aggressive about a goal for creating clean energy, clean electricity generation by 2035. But what it's going to do is it recognizes that's really aggressive, and we're going to have to get going on day one. But we're also, look, I said Joe Biden leads with his heart. He leads with his heart. He cares about people. And he specifically has his heart and soul in the working people and working families of America. So he is going to make sure that he takes care of union members who are working in industries that can decline or are going to decline. And I think that that's absolutely front and center. I've heard him talk about this numerous times, and he never doesn't say that. And it's something that is absolutely front and center for him. And that's why the head of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Lonnie Stevenson, who heads the biggest energy union in the country, is strongly supporting the Biden-Harris ticket, because he knows that they are going to create millions of union jobs and are going to take care of union workers in declining industries. And that's not a promise, end of the story promise. Oh yeah, we'll do that too. That's front and center in who Joe Biden is and where his heart is. And people can believe it because it's true.
Tom, this election looks to be different from prior elections in all sorts of ways, but one of them just is the way we vote. I mean, there's the dispute right now over the Postal Service. You've been very active at getting younger voters out with your NextGen America project. At the same time, it's going to be harder to do that on college campuses this time. How does it change your efforts?
Well, David, NextGen America, for people who are watching who aren't familiar with us, is the largest youth voter mobilization effort in American history. It's 8 years old. And you're right, in 2018, in the midterm elections, NextGen was on over 420 college campuses, including specifically community colleges and historically Black colleges and universities. We're on zero today. We went 100% virtual on March 10 because of the coronavirus. We believe that our virtual organizing of people between 18 and 35 will be more effective than we've ever been. We believe, and I personally believe, and that's why I started NextGen, young people vote at half the rate of other American citizens. It's the biggest generation in American history. It's the most diverse generation in American history. We believe they have the power to transform this country with their voices and their votes, and we've been trying to give them the tools to do just that. And I believe 2020 is going to be the year when they show up in a way that nobody expects. And absolutely, we're going to see a youth turnout that beats historical records and absolutely transforms our politics. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I believe in. That's what NextGen works for every single day. And I think that they're going to be behind the Biden-Harris ticket in a huge way. And we're going to see something on November 4th that we've never seen before, which is a transformation of American society in a completely good way.
Tom, will those young voters, or for that matter, voters across the entire country, will they turn out physically or will they mail in their ballots? And what does the Democratic Party do in a situation where apparently there's increased confusion, not clarity, over the way our votes will be counted?
I think that overwhelmingly it's going to be vote by mail, David. I don't think there's any question about that. I think that people are going to have to make sure they do it. They're going to have to be careful about it. A lot of this is going to be making sure that you put your vote in a position where it for sure is going to get counted. And I know the president is muddying the water and is trying to do things to suppress the vote, obviously. But I believe the American people are smart. I believe we'll be organized amongst ourselves. The Democratic Party for sure will be trying to make sure that we have a democracy. A democracy, the first right in a democracy is for every citizen's equal right to vote. To take that away is shameful. And it's not going to happen. The American people are going to be organized and we're going to show up. We're going to take back the country and our votes are going to get counted.